got a trade partnership agreement concluded with the European Union. Quota-free, duty-free, and with provisions for products which are familiar with us. Why should a country like Vietnam be getting a greater share of that market compared to us? These are the questions we asked. And they are questions that Kenyans need to ask, and Kenyans are very, very fast moving in taking opportunities. We believe that we are going to find a solution to this problem, Mr. President. Let me also say that the new trade partnership agreement with the United States also answers to these questions. We should move ahead with it. Whatever happens to AGOA or not, Kenya's access to these markets will be important. Mr. President, all these factors that we've brought into account that ought to be considered in the long-term plan are important because our country is predominantly young. We have young people who are very well educated and who are asking for quality jobs. A combination of investment domestic investment, foreign that's happening in the region that Kenyans fail to notice. First of all is the bad news, because we're quite comfortable here. Kenyans tend to be quite comfortable with their perch, and forget that just right next door in Sudan is one of the largest humanitarian tragedies happening anywhere in the world right now. Yep. I see very few of my friends who are Kenyans. I can preach to students because they are captive to my audience, but I cannot reach a bigger population than that. That Khartoum was just a shell, a complete rubble after what happened in 2019, 2030, and it still is. And it's not very far from here, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, we don't know what will happen in the rest, north, a little bit of the east. I don't want to mention too many countries because they are all here. They are parts of ours. We live in a part of the world which is very, very unstable. On the other hand, there's competition, which also we need to worry about. Because competition is good. It makes you think harder. We're talking about, Mr. President, when you're talking about tourism, Bishoftu, in the airport in Ethiopia. They are out, they are moved ahead, they are on the stock, the contractor is in place. For constructing Bishoftu International Airport, city, accommodation, global hub that will dominate the region for the future, if we're not careful. 15 million tourists per year. Taraput. Center of Boeing assembly as well as services. The kind of activities that normally would come to Nairobi. I'm happy, Mr. President, you are aware we are doing something about the airport here, but these are issues that we cannot look up to with equanimity. Bagamoyo, and Tanzania is not hiding this, $12 billion investment, now shopping for a taker between the Gulf, even Russia. Ourselves where this leaves us as we look into the future. Mr. President, we looked at many instances like this in which competitiveness in the region could affect us adversely unless we act and act quickly. I just want to say, Mr. President, as I conclude here, and this is a global overview of the situation, that Kenyans are not quitters. We have been for a long time been seen as the lodestar of development in the region. We earned that reputation by hard work, by looking ahead, by determination, by grit, by doing the right thing at the right time. We can still do it. As Professor Nyong'o said, play your part, it can be done.
Another round of applause for Professor Michael Chege. Your Excellency, with your permission, allow me now to invite Professor Karuti Kanyagia, who will give us key highlights of Kanyagia, I was just checking if you're awake. Also to recognize the presence of the judiciary. We do have the judiciary led by
Governors present. Good morning to everyone. I know friends have been making a joke that Karuti is going to take us to Singapore. And indeed, that's what we want to discuss here. Professor Anyang' Nyong'o and Michael Chege have already pointed out that this is possible. Your Excellency, Mr. President, sir, when we began this job with Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, we all did recognize that this is about Kenya. It has nothing to do with us as individual independent experts, independent researchers. We said this is a commitment we want to make, to commit our resources, to commit our intellectual ideas into producing a document that can help guide the country in developing this roadmap. And in doing so, of course, we had consultations with the State Department of Planning and of Public Service, Prime Cabinet Minister Office and his team. We had consultations and we have reviewed massive reports